Now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
And now you have to ask yourself, how did 50 come into the possession of Diddy's footage for Diddy's documentary about Diddy?
A lot of insight. And, this documentary is about people being able to tell their truth or tell their version.
For years, Katt Williams was dismissed as someone who talked too much and said too little of substance. That perception shifted after his January 2024 Club Shay interview when his words began aligning with real-world events. He wasn't joking anymore. He was calling out power structures, enforced silence, and an industry built on protection. Soon after, 50 Cent released the documentary Shaw Combs. The Reckoning, which exposed long-rumored patterns while carefully avoiding certain powerful names. That's when Katt's old comments resurfaced, especially his warning about 7 untouchable figures. As Diddy's legal troubles intensified, viewers started connecting the dots, realizing Katt may have been pointing toward a much larger truth all along.
Comedy Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams good?
Def Comedy Jam 25. A room filled with legendary comedians, roaring laughter, and a nervous tension hanging in the air because everyone was thinking the same thing. Would Katt Williams show up?
Check out this audio from Suge Knight. It's from his podcast with Dave Mays, and he's speaking on, Tupac and Snoop being cool and how, after Tupac got killed, Snoop started hanging out with Diddy. And, he also speaks on how, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. It's downloading right now.
Then you look at the scenario how everybody used Pac to make their stuff famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs for Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs for Puffy. You got Steve Harvey, old bit that, this motherfucker telling, well, Pac, according to everybody else, he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these are dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, huh? Hey, whoa. Wait a minute, fellas here. Hold up. I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we gotta stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my peoples.
For real, that's what we came in for. We came in and light it up and ride it up. We make music.
Now, Pac, if you love Pac so much, how you with the mother place, they got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York. Then the second one.
What you think about Suge comments? And I never asked you this before, but did you have an issue with Snoop hanging out with Diddy after Tupac got killed?
I always felt that was wrong. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm talking about from that, like now, okay. You know what I mean? I'm 46, Snoop probably early 50s. If he figured out now, he might go by the opinion like, okay, Puffy had nothing to do with Pac. We grown now. If he want to be his friend, no problem. But back then, that was just awkward. You know what I mean? And the reason why it was awkward to me that I never even like it because you knew how Pac felt about this.
The message was simple. Diddy wasn't operating alone, and he was shielded by layers of protection from people too powerful to be challenged openly. Katt never released a list or named all 7 figures directly, but his hints were enough to ignite non-stop online speculation. As usual, the internet rushed to connect the dots on its own. And one of the first names repeatedly pulled into those conversations was Snoop Dogg, showing just how quickly theories can spread when powerful names are left unspoken.
Lying! He's lying! He's lying! He didn't even buy it yet! He's lying!
Fans were quick to point out that Snoop had openly spoken for years about being around Diddy's parties with old interviews, jokes, and clips highlighting how closely their circles overlapped. As online rumors and resurfaced stories began circulating, none proven, purely speculative, people started questioning why his name never appeared in the documentary at all.
BET Awards went off without a hitch last night. A sense of that there. No, inside everything was fine. Outside everything was fine. And Kevin Hart decided that he was going to make jokes about, well, I mean, he's the host, right? So you have to sort of roast a little bit about someone who's in the audience because, well, this person is in a prison, actually right now sitting in a courtroom, and that's Diddy. Yes, he didn't say his name, but it was very clear to everyone who he was talking about here. Watch the reactions in the room.
Diddy was a big part of this culture. You know, right. His after parties, you know, were a part of the BET experience. So, you know, life comes at you fast, but, you know, Kevin had to address the elephant in the room.
By the way, we should say the Diddy after parties that happen after award shows, that's not what the trial is about. Those weren't freak-offs. The trial is something separate, but still, nobody wanted to be seen as laughing.
Kevin Hart's name caught many people off guard, especially as rumors began focusing on his early career connections to events known as Flavor Camp. These gatherings were linked to Diddy and often framed as industry opportunities for emerging talent, later fueling speculation and debate about how closely certain careers may have been connected behind the scenes.
What's going on with Kevin Hart?
I don't know, man.
Oh, okay.
You know, the internet is going wild on him, saying that he was a curator and a narrator of one of the Diddy parties and got caught on tape. You hear that?
Wow. I didn't hear that one.
That must be one of your favorite. That must be one of your favorite comedians then. Cause you didn't hear that?
That was cool.
Huh?
I didn't hear it.
Get out of here.
It was cool, but I didn't hear that one. Must have missed it, man. I think I caught most of them.
I think he almost fell in the tub with one of the girls. Diddy had some girls in the tub, a tub of baby oil or something like that, and he almost fell in the tub. It was crazy.
You know, he would be one of the celebrities that I definitely wouldn't think would be involved in anything illegal. For sure.
But you gotta realize this, man. People who get caught up in certain those things like that, those parties and things like that, is that they don't go there looking for that stuff. You gotta understand, they get caught up in the moment with the alcohol, the drugs, and then certain bottles that are laced with certain things that take you away from your normal self. And you end up probably doing something that you probably never do again in your life. You never get caught up in those things ever before. There are a lot of celebrities that go to these parties like this. And they not only Diddy parties. I went to a party before and You Can't Handle the Truth and King Kong Ain't Got Nothing on Me was at one of those parties. I was bodyguarding one of the girls. So what I'm saying is that it's rampant, and this was years ago. This was over 20 years ago. It's rampant in the music industry. It's rampant in Hollywood, film, pictures, and anything.
Can I tell you a story, Killer? I don't think I ever told you this story. This is what Puff taught me. One time I walked in when I was fresh off the streets. I got signed to Bad Boy. I had these fresh Air Nikes on, and then had on Air Nikes too, brand new. I made a mistake and stepped on his sneaker, and the dirt was on his laces, on his white Airs. I said, man, my bad, because I had stepped in some dirt. You know, the nigga came back, put his feet in the dirt, and stepped all over my sneakers. I said, yo, what are you doing? He said, my bad. I said, yo. The moral of the story is, nobody just want to hear you say.
Fans began revisiting Kevin Hart's early comedy routines, and while nothing proved any wrongdoing, some jokes landed differently for certain viewers, prompting new questions about what he may have witnessed along the way. Online speculation suggested that drawing his name into the conversation could create serious legal and business complications given the number of projects, contracts, and major studios involved. Nothing was ever confirmed, only a noticeable silence where curiosity continued to grow.
So Mace was told the day before the incident at the celebrity basketball game that someone was coming for Puffy and Biggie. In another line that Mace said that caught my attention, man, was him saying that never found the killer. Why is there? How do you feel about him saying that? Because it sounds like he's referring to Biggie getting killed in LA, and Puffy, he's currently living in LA right now. And why does he feel so comfortable living somewhere that Biggie got killed at, knowing that they never found the killer and the murder is still unsolved?
Well, on all honestly, brother, you would have to ask him that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm looking at it like that, then I know, you know, those mansions are heavily guarded, 1. 2, he wasn't getting the love that he would get. I don't think he's getting love in LA. I don't know. He said he owns LA, he runs LA, he runs Miami, and he runs New York. So by him running LA, as he say he does, I would feel comfortable too. You know what I'm saying? If I knew for a fact that the person they got, and that was enough to call back all of everything, I would feel that comfortable too. But I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't go there. I'd do business and get on out of there if I was still afraid. I don't think he may have not ever been afraid. You understand? Because he never acted like he was afraid for whatever reason it was. I can't pinpoint it myself, man.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. I'm proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Mace may have been the quietest name mentioned, but his history with Bad Boy Records is among the most revealing, marked by public contract disputes, visible frustration, and a sudden distance when allegations against Diddy began to surface. Many expected him to speak out. Yet, he remained silent, and that silence became a story in itself. Some fans believe Mace knows more than he's willing to share publicly, while others feel he's simply seeking peace. Speculation suggests his connection was too personal and too close to the center of everything, and including him would have opened doors that could never be closed again.
I knew back in the day that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly. Anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of, but I know this. Two men dress alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bruh. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the nigga got the same shirt you got on, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mills up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all that, and he was searching for some online gay porn and all of that.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioning about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
Like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So
Meek Mill's name entered the discussion after an audio clip surfaced online and spread rapidly, igniting intense debate. Some dismissed it outright, others took it seriously. And while Meek denied any wrongdoing, the controversy lingered. Online speculation suggested that naming him directly in the documentary could have jeopardized the entire release, bringing legal risks, defamation concerns, and a media storm no platform would want to face. According to the rumor mill, this became a clear example of content being cut for survival rather than truth. Something many viewers now say they felt long before it was ever acknowledged.
Even bootleg, yo, they don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's gonna be hard to figure it out if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy, and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber. Allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or not?
Well, all this is by surprise to me. A lot of this is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff. I knew Puff Daddy. I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the Diddler, he's the Diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world.
Perhaps the most sensitive names were Justin Bieber and Usher, both connected to Diddy early in their careers. Old videos and interviews resurfaced, revealing moments that in hindsight felt unsettling. Justin Bieber's emotional reactions to paparazzi questions years later only fueled further speculation, prompting questions about whether some young stars were protected at the expense of their well-being. Many believe the documentary drew a firm line here, not because the story lacked importance, but because publicly exposing potential victims could cause more harm than healing. As a result, their names were left unmentioned.
Stacey Dash, Ray J, Clive Davis, how are they all connected?
I want to say Diddy, but I don't.
We're going to be going through all of those possibilities.
Oh, okay. I wasn't supposed to answer. Okay.
And when we started LA as a graveyard, then, it was like, okay, we can't just say that anymore, especially after I took them up to 35 for us to film about what happened in Mo there. It's hip hop.
Yeah.
And that's going to be moving on to Tombstone.
Okay.
And we'll be going through the unexpected, unusual deaths, unsolved murders, mysteries, things of that nature, things that I know, things that I'm directly connected to. We want to create this aspect because we want to start teasing people's minds into wanting to get these crimes solved, because the truth is, it seems like the hardest murder to solve in America is a rap murder. They just don't seem to get solved.
Without question.
That's a problem.
Without question.
Because we got over 35, 40 years of hip-hop homicides.
Yes.
How many of them get solved?
They created a whole show. Yeah.
Unsolved hip-hop mystery? Are you kidding me?
Hey. I have to ask you, you mentioned Clive Davis. They just showed him recently walking into somewhere, and they asked him about Diddy, and he said who? Is that old age, or does he not? They're not in the same world, or they're in the same world, but they're not cohorts.
After Sean Combs' The Reckoning dropped, fans noticed how quickly the conversation zeroed in on Diddy. The deeper questions: who funded the events, who booked the venues, who showed up year after year, who approved it all, faded into the background. Online researchers compared it to past industry scandals and saw a familiar pattern. One name becomes the symbol. A few explosive details surface, but anything connecting too many powerful figures is instantly labeled unverified, risky, or off-limits.
People have been talking about for some time now. Alex, let me begin with you. The docuseries is entitled Sean Combs, The Reckoning. How is this one different from the others that have been out there?
Well, I think that the biggest marker of what makes this film or this series different is how much time we took into putting into the making of the film, doing our due diligence to get the right voices, to the table. This is a series that spans over 30 years. So just by covering that much time, it took a lot of time for us to dig in and to kind of make sense of this story and to put this timeline together.
Yeah, and there's like some never before seen footage that I'm going to talk to you about in just a moment. But Curtis, people know about this very public, long-standing feud that you've had with Sean Combs. So what brought you to this project?
Well, I just want to make really hit television. I like the idea of it being exciting, and I picked this project and started working on it about 5 months before I found Alex. And I know that she has the artistic integrity that it would take to make it a great project, and there's the Quincy Jones era of production is find me that bass player because he's the baddest man out there in Chicago, and find me that keyboardist and fly them in from Miami, and we put them in and have the greatest jam session they ever heard, and it just always resulted in great hit music. And I take that concept into television production.
You take that into everything you do, sir.
That's right.
You really do. It really comes through, and appreciate that about you. As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about, was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, talked about all over the country. All eyes were on him, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom, and what was sort of important to him. Obviously, there's phone calls with his attorneys, with his team. It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. He has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account in how he was coming off to the public, in the days leading up to his arrest and indictment. So that was interesting. It was also just interesting to see how laid back he was at times, but the footage also in the footage we also see how he's getting incoming, lawsuits are dropping, and to get his real-time perspective on that was sort of jaw-dropping when we first got our eyes on the footage.
Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching the footage?
No, that didn't surprise me at all.
Because you've known him?
Yeah, those behaviors, and I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that, because how did you go about getting the footage? And do you know the intent of the videographer, why he or this person took the footage?
She's a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to reveal her sources, so you don't have to reveal that.
Not going to reveal my sources, but I think that partnering with someone like 50, it was very much in the universe as to what we were doing.
50 Cent addressed the rumors cautiously, noting that documentaries come with limits, time limits, episode limits, and legal limits. Yet, Katt Williams, through jokes and side comments, seemed to suggest that the cuts weren't creative. They were strategic. According to speculation, the pressure came in many forms. Legal threats, distribution concerns, industry influence, or even efforts to protect people who may have been harmed. Nothing was ever confirmed. Everything remained debated. Yet, the missing names stayed missing. What struck many viewers wasn't just who was left out, but how familiar the pattern felt. One scandal, one fall guy, and an entire system quietly retreating back into the shadows, just as it has so many times before.
This way here, I didn't see this, but apparently there's another 100 hours of Diddy footage on the cutting room floor?
So Diddy is still doing press. I mean, Diddy. 50.
Diddy is not doing press.
No,
he's doing press on the yard.
He's doing press, like he's doing push-ups. No, 50 is still doing press, and obviously with the success of the Reckoning documentary, he's talking about there's more footage. There's 140 hours that he has, and each episode was only maybe an hour, I think. There was 4 episodes, so there's at least 130 something more hours that he hasn't edited or produced. And he's saying that he may put it out on YouTube, just to put it out there,
like on his 50 Cent Devo page.
I don't know if it'll be on his page, but he just said, he doesn't know if he's going to release it with Netflix or through Netflix. He might just, put it out on YouTube or wherever, some other platform. But the one thing that he said that was interesting is, he said, because you see people out here trying to, say, oh, the documentary can paint a narrative, this and the third. And his words were, if you see the rest of this footage, there will be no more, kind of like, oh, you can paint this narrative. It's pretty clear cut, the things that are being said in the documentary, the things that he still can't believe Puff, because he says that a lot, like he can't believe Puff actually recorded all of it.
Yeah. But I mean, so why does 50 not put that, if it's that damning and that crazy, why not put it in the doc?
I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't put it in the doc. Maybe, the stories, maybe he has more people that he would need to interview and have sit down for the documentary to kind of go through those stories that are in there. It could be a number of reasons, but the fact that he has over 100 hours of footage of personal footage and things like that leading up to the case, because the story is Puff felt like he was going to win the case, and that this was going to be footage for his documentary that he would have released,
the redemption,
after the trial was done and things like that. So the amount of things that he probably was recording, just going off of the fact that he felt like they were going to win the case.
This is my footage and these guys aren't going to put it out. Like, all the crazy we're going to take out.
Right.
But I mean, even I did see who I think was the director of what Diddy was trying to do, had mentioned that he was on vacation or was out of town and had someone fill in for him, and that's the only footage that made it to the doc because that guy sold it. So maybe that director didn't pay the person to fill in, so he owned the footage and was able to give it away. But maybe all this other footage 50 doesn't have permission to put out. Like,
okay,
he could have it, but the director's like, no, this is my footage. Like, you got the other, because I had my man's fill in for me for 3 days, and he has that footage now.
Right.
So maybe that could be it. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like 50 is so petty that if it was that crazy, he would have just put in the doc. But who knows? I don't even want to speculate what is on the 100 hours.
Yeah.
After Lil Rod telling me what was going on, I don't know if I want to see it visually.
I mean, you know, and for 50 to say the footage that's on there is it leaves no more room for, you know, people to kind of say, oh, you know, the narratives are being created, it's false. For 50 to say that, I mean, you know, we can only imagine the footage that he's seen and that he has. So we'll have to see if any of that ever sees the light of day. I'm sure that, you know, Diddy's team is going to do everything they can to make sure that that doesn't happen. But you know, I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know if I need to see anything else.
Katt Williams' words felt less like comedy and more like a warning. He didn't say the truth would be denied, only controlled with certain stories trimmed to protect the bigger picture. Celebrities went quiet, interviews canned, posts deleted, old photos disappeared. It wasn't panic, it was strategy. Whether or not 7 names were cut, the reaction spoke volumes. People weren't defending Diddy, they were defending distance. Silence spread faster than facts, showing that the truth hit closer than anyone wanted to admit. Katt never claimed to be a hero, only a truth teller speaking in riddles when the truth is dangerous. The missing names revealed one thing. Diddy's downfall didn't happen alone. It exposed an industry still unwilling to confront itself. The real question isn't who was removed, but who will never be named. Because some truths are hidden not for being false, but because too many powerful people need them buried.